The rift opens. The city of Metropolis glittered under the calm of night. Neon signs pulsed gently, cars rolled along crowded avenues, and skyscrapers stretched proudly into the star-studded sky. For once, the world seemed at peace. Families gathered for late dinners, children played in the parks, and the hum of urban life carried on without interruption. But peace never lasted long. At first, it was subtle. A shimmer, almost invisible, appeared high above the city. The stars bent unnaturally, warping like ripples in water. Pedestrians pointed upward, confused at the strange sight. Then came the sound, a low, deep vibration, felt more in the bones than heard with the ears. Car alarms blared, dogs howled, and people began to panic. The shimmer widened into a jagged rift, tearing across the sky like cracks spreading in glass. Green light poured through the rupture, bathing the city in an eerie glow. The air grew heavy, humming with alien energy that made the hairs on everyone's arms stand on end. And then, something emerged. A massive silhouette appeared within the rift, growing larger and more defined with each passing second. The first to emerge was a colossal hand, glowing faintly with green cosmic energy. Then shoulders, wider than buildings. Finally, the figure revealed itself fully, a hulking beast of unimaginable size and power. It was the alien Hulk. Unlike any creature the world had seen, his skin glowed as if veins of green fire pulsed beneath the surface. His body was impossibly muscular, each movement sending shockwaves through the rift's unstable edges. His eyes burned with fury, twin orbs of emerald light, filled not with reason but with rage. When he landed, the city shook as though an earthquake had struck. Asphalt split, windows shattered, and people were thrown from their feet. The Hulk roared. The sound was so powerful it rattled skyscraper foundations and echoed for miles, like thunder made flesh. It was not just the roar of an angry beast. It carried a resonance that seemed to bend reality itself, as if the very air trembled in fear of him. Chaos erupted instantly. Cars swerved wildly, horns blaring as drivers scrambled to escape. Pedestrians screamed, scattering in every direction. Sirens wailed as emergency services rushed into action, but their vehicles were tossed aside when the Hulk took his first massive step forward. He slammed a fist into the street, splitting it apart like fragile glass. A shockwave rolled outward, toppling lampposts and sending parked cars flipping into the air. Green energy pulsed around his body, distorting the air and sizzling against the storm clouds that began to gather overhead. It was as though the planet itself was reacting to his presence. From miles away, Superman heard the first roar. His superhearing picked up the cries of terrified citizens, the sirens, the collapse of concrete. He was already in the sky, a red and blue streak cutting through the night, cape trailing like a comet's tail. Within seconds, he soared above Metropolis, eyes narrowing at the sight of the alien giant below. Superman descended, landing on cracked pavement between the Hulk and a fleeing crowd. The citizens looked up at him with hope, their fear momentarily stilled by the presence of Earth's greatest protector. Superman raised his hand toward the alien, his voice steady, firm, and commanding. "Stop this. Whatever you are, you don't belong here. You've caused enough destruction. Leave now." The Hulk turned, his glowing eyes locking onto Superman. For a moment, there was silence, as if the entire city held its breath. Then, the alien let out a guttural growl that built into another earth-shaking roar. His answer was clear. He charged. The ground quaked beneath his thunderous steps. Superman braced himself, meeting the beast head-on. Their collision was like two planets colliding, an eruption of sound and force that blasted out in all directions. Shock waves rattled windows, and debris rained down from rooftops. Civilians screamed as they were knocked off their feet, clutching each other in terror. Superman pushed against the Hulk's colossal fists, the force straining even his legendary strength. His cape snapped violently in the wind, his boots digging into the cracked asphalt. "He's stronger than anything I've ever faced," Superman thought, his jaw clenched as he struggled against the alien's sheer power. The Hulk roared again, pulling back and swinging a massive arm. Superman dodged, soaring upward, his heat vision slicing through the air like twin beams of red fire. The Hulk raised his arm, the beams striking his glowing skin but barely slowing him down. The alien's energy absorbed the attack, flaring brighter as if feeding on it. Superman realized with a sinking feeling that this creature's power wasn't just brute strength. It was alive, adaptable. Every strike only seemed to make him stronger. The Hulk leapt upward, his body soaring through the air with terrifying speed for his size. He crashed into Superman mid-flight, driving him into the side of a skyscraper. Concrete shattered, glass exploded, and the building shuddered under the impact. Superman gritted his teeth, grappling with the monster even as they plummeted back to the street below. They landed with an explosion of force that created a crater, asphalt cracking like dry earth. The Hulk wasted no time, swinging again with wild fury. Superman countered, catching the massive fist, but the impact sent shockwaves up his arms. "You won't take this city," he growled, straining against the alien's might. Lightning suddenly cracked across the sky, jagged streaks illuminating the battlefield. The storm had fully awakened, called forth by the Hulk's energy. Rain began to pour, hissing against the green glow of his skin. The thunder rumbled in answer to the Hulk's roar, creating a terrifying symphony of chaos. Superman looked upward, rain streaming down his face, and felt the gravity of the situation. This was not just another villain, not another monster to contain. This was something far greater, an invasion from beyond, a threat that could tear the planet apart if left unchecked. The Hulk slammed both fists into the ground, sending another shockwave that toppled nearby buildings. Superman flew forward, catching a collapsing tower with both hands and holding it long enough for civilians to escape. He lowered it gently, then shot back toward the Hulk, determination blazing in his eyes. This wasn't just a fight, it was a war. As the Hulk let out another roar, lightning split the sky once more, casting both titans in blinding light. Superman clenched his fists, bracing for the storm to come. The rift above still shimmered, glowing ominously, as if more horrors waited on the other side. The first battle had begun, and Earth's greatest protector was about to discover just how unstoppable the alien Hulk truly was. Storm of power. The rain came harder now, a relentless downpour that turned streets into rivers of rushing water. Lightning carved across the sky, illuminating the city in violent flashes of white and blue. Each bolt seemed drawn to the rift above, as though Earth's own weather had bent to the alien presence. The storm was no longer natural. It was alive, raging in response to the titanic battle unfolding below. Superman hovered above the chaos, cape snapping violently in the wind, eyes glowing with determination. Below, the alien Hulk's glowing skin shimmered brighter with every strike of lightning, as if he were absorbing the very energy of the storm. His every breath steamed in the cold rain, his every movement shook the ground. The man of steel clenched his fists. If he grows stronger with every attack, I can't hold back. I have to end this before Metropolis falls. With a sonic boom, Superman rocketed downward, striking the Hulk with a blow so fast it blurred even to the naked eye. The impact sent the monster stumbling back through buildings, concrete and steel exploding around him. But instead of weakening, the Hulk only roared louder, slamming both fists into his chest. His body pulsed with violent green energy that surged outward in shockwaves, collapsing entire blocks of the city. The storm answered him. Thunder rolled like cannon fire. Bolts of lightning struck the ground in rapid succession, igniting cars and tearing holes into the pavement. Civilians screamed as they scrambled through the downpour, desperate to escape the war zone. Superman flew through the storm, intercepting falling debris, shielding civilians with his own body, racing against chaos itself. But the Hulk did not give him a moment's peace. With a leap that cracked the earth, the alien soared upward, slamming into Superman mid-flight. The two titans spiraled through the storm clouds, trading blows so fierce that thunder seemed to echo their strikes. Above the city, the fight became a storm within the storm. Superman's fists glowed red with heat vision as he pummeled the Hulk's jaw, each punch exploding with concussive force. The alien countered with brutal swipes, his claws ripping at the very air, sending violent gales downward that shattered glass towers like sandcastles. Then it happened. Lightning struck the Hulk directly. Instead of burning him, the bolt arced across his body, absorbed into his pulsing veins. His muscles swelled larger, his glow became blinding, and his roar nearly drowned out the thunder itself. Superman's eyes widened. He's feeding on the storm. The Hulk slammed a colossal fist into Superman's chest, sending him hurtling downward like a meteor. The Man of Steel crashed into the heart of Metropolis, carving a crater into the streets. Dust, fire, and rain filled the air as he groaned, struggling back to his feet. The alien descended like a falling star, his fists raised, ready to crush his opponent into the ground. At the last second, Superman darted aside, the Hulk's impact shattering the crater into a canyon. The ground split open for blocks, swallowing cars, lights, and streets into a yawning chasm. Superman steadied himself in the air, face grim. I can't outmatch him with brute force. I need the storm itself. He shot upward, piercing the swirling clouds, flying higher and higher until he hovered within the heart of the tempest. Lightning flashed around him, thunder shook the heavens, and winds howled like wild beasts. He spread his arms, allowing the storm's raw energy to course around him. His eyes glowed like suns, his chest heaved with power. Below, the Hulk bellowed, enraged at being denied his prey. He leapt skyward, soaring through the rain, his body glowing with furious emerald light. Superman met him head-on in the clouds, their collision igniting the sky with a blinding flash. The storm screamed. Rain exploded outward in sheets, lightning detonated in a chain reaction across the heavens, and the sound of their clash could be heard for miles. The two giants spun in midair, their blows so powerful that each one left shockwaves visible in the storm clouds. The Hulk swung, his fists heavy as meteors. Superman ducked, countering with a heat vision blast that carved a molten trail through the rain. The Hulk absorbed the strike again, his body flaring brighter, but this time Superman anticipated it. He darted behind the alien and unleashed a flurry of rapid punches, driving the beast upward higher and higher into the storm. But the alien's rage had no limit. With a roar, the Hulk unleashed a wave of raw green energy from his chest, blasting Superman backward across the clouds. Lightning arced into the energy burst, feeding it, turning it into a glowing storm of emerald and white. Superman skidded through the storm, tumbling through thunder and lightning until he forced himself upright. His body ached, but his spirit remained unbroken. He clenched his fists and pushed forward, slicing through the raging winds, diving back toward his foe. The Hulk roared again, his voice a command to the storm itself. And the storm obeyed. A massive lightning strike, wider than a building, crashed down upon the two warriors, engulfing them both in a blinding explosion of light. For a heartbeat, the city below saw only the flare of the heavens tearing open. The skyline was silhouetted against the brilliance. Civilians shielded their eyes, praying their protector would endure. When the light faded, both Titans still stood in the sky, burning with power, their eyes locked, their rage unshaken. The Hulk's body was alive with lightning, every muscle glowing like molten emerald stone. Superman's cape smoldered, but his fists radiated with crackling arcs of blue-white electricity. He had harnessed the storm, bending its wild energy into his own power. The world seemed to hold its breath. The Hulk struck first, his glowing fist swinging like the hammer of a god. Superman met it with his own, their collision so mighty it split the clouds apart, tearing open the storm to reveal the stars beyond. The shockwave rolled down to Earth, flattening cars, rattling windows, and knocking civilians off their feet. Both combatants gritted their teeth, locked in a stalemate that threatened to unravel the very skies. The storm was no longer their battleground. It was their weapon. And Metropolis had become the arena of gods. Clash of Gods, Finale. The heavens above Metropolis had become a battlefield. The storm was no longer weather, it was war itself, bending to the fury of two titans. Lightning lit the sky in violent bursts, thunder shook the city like artillery fire, and rain hammered down with unrelenting force. In the center of it all floated Superman, his cape torn to ribbons, his body crackling with blue-white electricity. Across from him, the alien Hulk towered like a living storm of emerald fury, veins glowing with raw cosmic power as lightning fed his monstrous form. Both warriors glared at one another, their bodies battered, their wills unbroken. The world had never seen power like this. With a roar that split the storm, the alien Hulk lunged forward, swinging a glowing fist that could shatter mountains. Superman met him midair, their punches colliding with the force of colliding worlds. The shockwave ripped through the clouds, tearing the storm open and blasting a ring of energy across the night sky. Below, the city quaked. Skyscrapers swayed, glass shattered, streets crumbled into jagged scars. Civilians who had not escaped huddled in terror as rescue teams fought desperately to protect them from the falling chaos. But all eyes turned upward. Gods were clashing in their skies. Superman gritted his teeth, his arms trembling as he locked fists with the Hulk. "You won't destroy this world," he shouted over the storm. His heat vision blazed, twin beams of crimson fire slamming into the Hulk's face. The alien staggered but didn't fall. Instead, he bellowed, his green aura flaring even brighter as he absorbed the attack into his own body. Superman's heart sank. He's still growing stronger. The Hulk retaliated with a colossal headbutt that sent Superman spiraling into the skyline. He crashed through a tower, steel beams crumpling like matchsticks, before bursting out the other side, leaving the skyscraper to collapse in flames. Superman steadied himself midair, coughing from the dust and smoke. His vision blurred, his body bruised, but his spirit blazed hotter than ever. The people below needed him. The Earth itself needed him. He couldn't fail. Lightning streaked behind him, illuminating his eyes as he narrowed his focus. "Then I'll end this, with everything I have." He shot forward, faster than sound, slamming into the Hulk with a force that blasted both of them through the storm clouds and into the upper atmosphere. For a brief moment, they were silhouetted against the stars, two cosmic titans locked in a struggle that would decide the fate of a world. The Hulk roared, his voice vibrating through space itself. His fists hammered Superman's ribs like meteors, each blow threatening to break bones even steel couldn't withstand. Superman countered with his own strikes, faster, sharper, burning with fury and hope. Their battle lit the night like fireworks, sparks of energy scattering across the heavens. Then the Hulk unleashed his true fury. His chest swelled, his entire body glowing brighter than ever before, until he erupted with a storm of pure green energy. The blast struck Superman like a tidal wave, hurling him back toward Earth. He plummeted like a comet, flames trailing from his body as he crashed into the heart of Metropolis once more. The crater shook the city. Silence followed for a heartbeat. Then, slowly, Superman rose. Smoke curled off his scorched skin, his suit torn to shreds, but his eyes blazed with unyielding fire. He looked up at the descending Hulk, whose massive form filled the sky like a falling star. Superman clenched his fists. The storm's lightning arced into him, drawn to his will, wrapping his body in electric fury. He became a beacon of light in the chaos, a god forged of storm and steel. The Hulk landed with an earth-shaking crash. The ground split beneath his feet, buildings toppled, and cars flew like toys. His roar shook the bones of everyone who heard it. And then they charged. The final clash began. Superman blurred forward, striking the Hulk with a storm-charged punch that lit up the battlefield. The Hulk swung back, his green aura detonating like a nuclear blast. The two titans exchanged blows so fast and powerful the world itself seemed to shake. Each impact leveled streets, shattered windows for miles, and sent shockwaves that rippled through the clouds. The people below could only watch in awe and terror. To them, this was no longer a battle. It was a war of gods. Superman roared as he unleashed his heat vision at full force, beams as wide as highways carving into the Hulk's chest. The alien staggered but roared back, his body absorbing the heat into his glowing veins. His counterstrike was devastating, a double-fisted slam that sent Superman into the ground, burying him beneath rubble. For a moment, the city held its breath. Had their protector fallen? The Hulk raised his fists high, ready to deliver the final blow. But before he could strike, the rubble exploded upward in a storm of fire and lightning. Superman shot out, glowing brighter than ever, his body blazing with power. He wasn't just fighting for Metropolis anymore. He was fighting for Earth. With a roar of his own, Superman tackled the Hulk, dragging him into the sky. They soared upward, higher and higher, until they breached the edge of the atmosphere. Stars surrounded them. The Earth glowed beneath their feet. And there, in the silence of space, Superman gave everything. He unleashed a final punch, one powered by the storm, by the Earth, by every soul depending on him. His fist struck the Hulk with the fury of a planet behind it. The alien roared, green light bursting from his body in violent cracks. His cosmic energy fractured, spiraling away into the void. With one last thunderous scream, the Hulk was hurled back through the rift that had spawned him. The tear in the sky trembled, then closed with a blinding flash, sealing the alien away. Silence followed. Superman floated in the void, his body battered and burned, his breathing heavy. But the storm was gone. The rift was sealed. Earth was safe. He turned his gaze back toward the planet below, toward the shining lights of Metropolis scarred but alive. Slowly, painfully, he descended, landing among the ruins of the city he had sworn to protect. Civilians gathered, eyes wide, tears streaming, their cheers rising through the broken streets. Superman stood tall, exhausted but unbroken, his cape fluttering weakly in the fading wind. The storm had ended. The God of Steel had triumphed.